knight f3, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, d4, Fischer castles on king side, bishop f4, d5, queen b3, d into c4, queen into c4, c6, e4, knight b d7, rook d1, knight b6, queen c5, bishop g4, bishop g5. Instead of bishop g5, bishop e2 followed by castling would be better for white. Knight a4. Knight a4 is an excellent move. Queen a3. Why he didn't play knight into knight? If knight into knight is played, knight into e4, white will be in trouble. So that is why queen a3 is played. Knight into c3. Because of knight c3, white gets a strong pawn center. But eliminating the knight on c3, it becomes possible to sacrifice the exchange via knight into e4 and attack white's center. White's king is trapped in the center. B into c3. Knight into e4. Black continues his plan. Bishop into e7. Queen b6. After queen b6 by Bobby Fischer, Donald Byrne, a university professor and US grandmaster, played bishop c4. Knight into c3. Bishop c5. Rook f e8. Check. King f1. Bishop e6. Bishop e6 is an excellent move. If this is the game of the century, then bishop e6 must be the counter of the century. Fischer offers his queen in exchange for a fierce attack with minor pieces. Declining this offer is also not so easy. Let us see how it is. After bishop e6 by Bobby Fischer, bishop b6 is played. But let us see how this declining this offer is also put Donald Byrne into trouble. So bishop into e6, queen b5 check, king g1, knight e2 check, king f1, knight g3 check, king g1, queen f1 check, rook into f1, knight e2 check, smothered mate. Also declining other ways also lead into trouble. On queen into c3, instead of bishop into e6, if queen into c3 is also played, let us see how it is. If queen into c3 is played, queen into c5, so Byrne cannot decline this offer, therefore he played bishop into b6. Let us go back and see that. So Fischer sacrificed his queen, but he placed some brilliant moves after that. After bishop into b6, bishop into c4 check, king g1, knight e2 check, king f1, knight into d4 check, these tactical scenarios where the king is repeatedly revealed to checks is sometimes called a windmill. Knight into d4 check, after knight into g4, king g1 is played, again knight e2 check, king f1, knight c3 check, king g1, a into b6 is played, queen b4, rook a4, queen into b6, knight into d1, h3, making way for the king, rook into a2, king h2, knight into f2, rook e1, rook into e1, queen d8 check, bishop f8, knight into e1, bishop d5, knight f3, knight e4, queen b8, b5. Every piece and pawn of black's camp is defended. The white queen has nothing to do there. h4, h5, knight e5, king g7, king g1, bishop c5 check, king f1, knight g3 check. Now brain is hopelessly entangled in Fischer's mating net. King e1, bishop b4 check, king d1, bishop b3 check, king c1, knight e2 check, king b1, knight c3 check, king c1, rook c2 check and mate. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. If you like this video, please subscribe so that you can see many more beautiful games of this series. Thanks for watching once again.